You hold it all together, you hold it forever. You got Christian like the flock of the feather. I don't mind the weather. I have got Jesus in my blood. He protects me from the flood. So happy can be sad. Good times over bad. Different trials I can't it all joy. Cause he makes my heart glad. Can't be sad cause the joy of the Lord is my strength. So who do you want free? No, not him, we want Barabbas. Long live the King of the Jews on the purple robe. They slapped him, brought him to the crowd. I cannot find nothing to condemn him. They shouted, crucify, crucify him. He claims to be the Son of God. Pilate was more afraid of this. So where do you come from? But Jesus didn't answer him. You will not speak to me. I have authority to set you free and also crucify. Jesus hollered back, you have authority over me because it is given to you by God. When Pilate heard this, he tried to find a way to set him free, but it was all in vain. They shouted back, kill him, crucify him. Do you want to crucify your king? The only king we have is the emperor. Jesus handed over to be crucified. So they took charge of Jesus. He went out carrying his cross to a place called Skull. There they crucified him. They crucified two other men on each other side with Jesus between them. Pilate wrote a notice and had it put on the cross, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, is what he wrote. Many people read it because the place he was crucified, it was not far from the city. The notice was written in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. Do not write this, the chief priest said to Pilate, but rather, this man said he was the King of the Jews. Pilate answered, what I have written stays written. After the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they took his clothes, divided it into 4 parts, 1 part for each soldier. They also took the robe, which was made of piece of woven cord, without any seam in it. The soldiers said to one another, let's not tear it. Let's draw a dice and see who will get it. This happened in order to make the scriptures come true. They divided my clothes among themselves and gambled for my robe too. And this is what they did. Standing close to Jesus' cross were his mother Mary Magdalene among the others. Jesus saw his mother and his disciples, who he loved, standing there, and he said to his mother, "Here is your son." And then he said to his disciple, "She is your mother." From that time, the disciple took her to live in his home. Jesus by now knew everything was completed. In order to make the scripture come true, he said, "I am thirsty." A bowl was there, full of cheap wine, so a sponge was soaked in the wine, put on a stalk of his spices, and lifted to his lips. Jesus drank the wine and said, "It is finished." He bowed his head and died. The authorities begged to be allowed to break the feet of those who were crucified. They took the bodies from the crosses. They requested this because it was a Friday and they did not want the bodies to stay on the cross on a Sabbath, since the coming Sabbath was especially holy. So the soldiers went out and broke the legs of the first man, the second man. So when they came to Jesus, they saw he was already dead, so they did not break his legs. So one of the soldiers plunged his spear in Jesus' side, and at once blood and water poured out. This was done to make the scripture come true. None of his bone will be broken. People will look at him whom he pierced. Joseph of Arimathea took his body. So he went with Nicodemus, wrapped him in linen with spice early on a Sunday morning, while it was still dark. Mary Magdalene saw the stone taken away from the entrance. So she went to tell his disciples. They came back and found the linen. Mary stood crying outside. Then she saw 2 angels there dressed in white, and they asked, "Woman, why are you crying?" She answered, "They have taken the Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him." Then she turned around and saw Jesus standing there. So who do you believe in? I put my faith in God. I put my trust in God. I use my 6th sense. They say it make no damn sense. I believe in God. I put my trust in God. I use my 6th sense. They say it doesn't make no sense. I believe in Jesus. Jesus is Lord, and God raised him from the dead.